직업 스튜디오 라이브 ASL에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
What is up, guys? We are finally going to do what was supposed to be the first day of the round of 8. It ended up actually being the last day. Both of our players ended up getting COVID at separate times, so this filming of this was not able to be done for about 2 weeks. For about 2 weeks, so we're finally here, and this should be a hell of a match.
Yeah, this was one of the more exciting matches for the round, which made it kind of painful to have it put off so much, but I'm glad that these guys are feeling better. Hopefully they're at 100% right now. Obviously they've had a lot of time to think about the match and try to figure out what they want to do, but this is it for the round of 8.
Yeah, this is it, man. Whoever wins here goes up against Soma, who, of course, 3-0'd Rush in a complete domination. We already know we have Light versus Bisu to look forward to, so we just got to see, who's going to survive this next match that's coming up here now. Rain versus Soulkey. And it's funny, both these guys have dominated in both StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. And I feel like we haven't really seen them play against each other here in modern StarCraft 1 in any games that I can think of. Can you, Artosis?
None actually come to mind, Tasteless, and that's a great point that you have there, actually. Two of the strongest, well, in fact, the two strongest across both StarCrafts, like, right. When you take everything into account. So yeah, that's a pretty crazy match now that you mention that. But I think we're going to jump to a quick video here, and then we can talk a little bit more about it.
Today's matchup.
새로운 역사를 쓰고 진정한 황제로 등극한 시즌13 8강 두 번째 대결.
어느 누가 결승에 올라가도 재능만으로도 설명할 수 없는 노력과 합쳐진 정인정 선수.
901일 만에 ASL 복귀입니다.
이런 동시다발적인 견제.
완벽한 복귀 경기.
그룹 A죠. 4강급이다라고 생각.
잡을 게 없었다.
너무 아름답게 들어가네요.
그 완벽한 모습으로 가장 먼저 8강 진출.
레인, 정윤정, 프로토스.
항상 우승 후보, 우승할 거는 예측들이 쏟아지고 있는 가운데 저그 대 저그전에서 발목 잡혔습니다.
저그 대 저그전에서 약한 모습을 계속 보여주고 있어가지고 극복을 했으면 좋겠거든요.
김민철 선수의 속한 조가 저그 3명 있는 조예요.
자, 레어 빅빅 돌면서
여기
거기 추가되는 타이밍 정말 좋았거든요, 김민철.
약점까지 극복하면서 8강 진출 이뤄냅니다.
소울키, 김민철, 저그. ASL Season13 8강.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 하식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌13 8강 마지막 경기로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요, 이영경입니다. 그간 펼쳐졌던 3번의 8강 경기를 통해서 저그, 프로토스, 테란 한 종족씩 4강 진출자가 탄생했는데요. 오늘은 마지막 4강 진출자가 탄생하는 경기를 앞두고 있습니다. 많은 분들이 오랫동안 기다리셨을 매치업이죠. 정윤정 선수와 김민철 선수 두 선수 만나서 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 반갑습니다.
안녕하세요.
네, 정윤정 선수 일단 오랜만에 또 ASL에서 다전제를 앞두고 계시는데요. 컨디션은 좀 어떠신가요?
일단 컨디션은 솔직히 별로 안 좋은데 게임할 그래도 체력은 돼가지고 최대한 빨리 끝내고 집으로 가도록 하겠습니다.
김민철 선수와의 8강 대진이 성사가 됐습니다. 제가 듣기로는 썩 만족스럽지는 못했던 대진이라고 들었는데 김민철 선수와의 대진이 성사됐을 때 좀 어떠셨나요?
사실 가장 피하고 싶은 선수는 맞았는데 어차피 우승을 하려고 하면은 언젠가는 이겨야 되는 선수라고 생각하기도 하고 저도 충분히 이길 수 있다고 생각을 하기 때문에 열심히 준비했습니다.
정윤종 선수의 자신감 넘치는 모습을 좀 볼 수 있는데요. 김민철 선수와도 이야기를 나눠보겠습니다. 컨디션 좀 어떠신가요?
컨디션 제가 오늘 오기 전에 하식스를 먹었거든요.
네.
중계진 분들이 항상 중간에 드시는 걸 보고 한번 좀 먹어봐야겠다 생각해서 조금 졸음이 왔었는데 먹고 나니까 졸음이 확 깼어요.
부스터를 좀 달고 오신 것 같은데 김민철 선수는 정윤종 선수와의 대진 좀 만족스러우셨을 것 같은데 대진이 딱 만들어졌을 때는 어떠셨나요, 당시에?
아무래도 이제 잘하는 선수긴 하지만 그래도 제가 저그전을 피했다는 거에 좀 만족을 하고 있고요. 뭐 대진은 만족스럽습니다.
정윤종 선수의 경우 ASL에서 치르는 다전제가 무려 948일 만입니다. 2년 반 만에 다전제를 좀 앞두고 있는데 워낙 24강, 16강 단판들에서도 또 좋은 모습을 보여줬기 때문에 다전제도 충분히 정윤종 선수 해낼 수 있다라고 많은 분들이 예상을 하고 계시는데 준비하는 데 있어서는 좀 어떤 어려움은 없으셨나요?
네, 일단 뭐 준비하는 데는 어려움이 없었는데 일단 제가 최근에 이제 코로나를 걸려가지고 생각보다 조금 힘들더라고요. 그래가지고 좀 그게 관건일 것 같아요. 이제 다전제에서 이제 오전제까지 만약 5번째까지 갔을 때 체력 문제가 조금 문제지 뭐 경기력은 제가 봤을 때는 밀리지 않는다고 생각해서 괜찮은 것 같습니다.
두 선수가 또 똑같이 이 모래 주머니를 좀 달고 오늘 경기를 앞두고 있는 느낌이 드는데요. 김민철 선수는 또 최근 프로토스전 기세가 워낙 좋았기 때문에 오랜만에 김민철 선수가 시드를 얻는 모습 기대를 많이 하고 계십니다. 연습하는 데 있어서 좀 김민철 선수는 자신감이 더 좀 붙으셨나요?
연습을 좀 많이 했거든요. 그래서 자신감은 있는 상태고 평소에도 뭐 토스전 자신 있었고 오늘 좀 자신 있습니다.
정윤종 선수가 또 만만한 프로토스는 절대 아닙니다. 어떤 점이 좀 까다롭게 느껴지실까요?
오늘 항상 잘하는 선수라고 생각해 왔었어요. 그냥 제가 동족전만 아니었으면 안 만나고 싶은 선수긴 한데 뭐 이렇게 붙었으니까 오늘 좋은 경기 했으면 좋겠어요.
네, 서로가 서로를 굉장히 까다롭다고 생각하는 강적들이 만났기 때문에 오늘 진짜 진검승부가 펼쳐지지 않을까 하는 생각이 드는데요. 일단 오늘 오전 3선승제로 펼쳐지는 경기가 준비되어 있습니다. 몇 번째 세트가 가장 좀 껄끄럽게 느껴지실까요?
아무래도 세 번째 세트가 항상 승부처더라고요. 다전제에서.
네.
그래서 세 번째 경기가 중요할 것 같아요.
이클립스에서의 경기가 조금은 까다롭게 느껴진다라는 대답을 해주셨는데 김민철 선수는 같은 질문을 좀 드려보고 싶은데요.
뭐 저도 약간 그런 생각 비슷하긴 하지만 아무래도 맵이 이제 어느 종족이 좀 유리한 맵이 있잖아요. 그 유리한 맵을 꼭 잡아내는 게 좀 중요할 것 같아요. 저는.
몇 대 몇의 스코어를 좀 예상하고 계세요?
저는 3대1 정도 생각하고 있어요.
3대1. 정윤종 선수는 몇 대 몇의 스코어를 좀 생각하고 계실까요?
저도 뭐 누가 이기던 3대0 아니면 3대1 나올 것 같아요. 박빙은 안 나올 것 같아요.
그런가요? 저는 박빙의 경기를 좀 예상했는데 두 선수의 답변은 조금 다른 것 같습니다. 자, 인터뷰를 마무리하면서 끝으로 두 선수의 각오를 청해 듣겠습니다. 정윤종 선수.
우선 원래 한 2주 전에 했었어야 됐는데 좀 몸 관리를 못 해가지고 미뤄진 점 죄송하고 그만큼 이제 오늘 좋은 경기력이 나왔으면 좋겠습니다. 열심히 하겠습니다.
기대하도록 하겠습니다. 김민철 선수.
아무래도 2주 정도 미뤄졌는데 미뤄진 만큼 좋은 경기 보여드리도록 할 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
네, 두 분의 멋진 경기 기대하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다. 감사합니다. 자, 이렇게 8강 마지막 경기를 앞두고 있는 정윤종 선수와 김민철 선수와 함께 이야기 나눠봤습니다. 과연 이번 시즌 마지막 4강 진출자는 어떤 선수가 될지 지금부터 두 선수의 8강 경기 함께 만나보시죠.
All right,
Sick.
so
Let's do this.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. We see Revolver, Allegro, Eclipse, Vermeer, and Butter if we make it to game number 5, which I'm thinking we might. But yeah, the story of this is actually really interesting. I wasn't even thinking about that, Tasteless, but you know, these guys are the guys that were super good at StarCraft 2 that came over from StarCraft 1, and then they came back and won championships in StarCraft 1. So in a lot of ways, they're the strongest StarCraft players, you know?
Yeah, it's really insane what these guys have done because they dominate in both of the StarCrafts where, I mean, honestly, usually you're either, you know, one or the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, all the great StarCraft 1 players were not bad at StarCraft 2. Many of them were very good. Many of them played in GSL. But, yeah, to have players like Rain and Soulkey who were, like, at various points in times, the best StarCraft 2 players, then they come back and at various points in time, they're the best StarCraft 1 players. That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, really, when you think about it, right? So, basically, guys, there was like a group of StarCraft 1 pros, and of course, the Warcraft 3 guys went over to StarCraft 2 early, before Kespa, and the StarCraft 1 pros dominated, and, you know, some new people kind of rose up, but then eventually the Kespa team switched over, and when they did, everyone was talking about Soulkey. Because all the Kespa teams practiced before they came over, and it was like, yeah, Soulkey's the best out of the Kespa teams from StarCraft 1. He came over, and he and Rain were up at the top. They were the strongest two. They were both GSL champions. Then when they quit and came back to StarCraft 1, Soulkey won a KSL, and Rain won an ASL and a KSL. So it's like, that's unreal to have that type of track record, and no one else has anything quite close to that.
And to what we were talking about earlier, I don't really feel like we've casted these two players fighting against each other. Like in an ASL or KSL. I don't remember them ever facing off, so this is going to be really interesting to see them duke it out.
Yeah. I'm not sure what to think about this match. We can see that the win rate here, look at these win rates for Rain, 84% PvP. It's just so silly. But 60, like 84% doesn't even, like, I don't think Flash maintains that in any matchup, so that's pretty crazy. But
well, I mean, it's not shocking when you think of that KSL where we had 4 Protosses in the finals, and he won it so easily, where I'm like,
easily.
Okay, I guess you really do just get this matchup better than everybody else.
But both of them having 61% win rates in this matchup. So very strong, of course, both of them. Do you have one of these guys that you're favoring right now?
You know, I kind of think that Rain might be slightly favored here.
Okay.
You know, Rain really is one of the Protosses that seems to be able to open up and kind of just strategically take the game away. Whereas you look at Bisu and it's like he beats the Zerg into submission. You know, Snow is just very good at powering up and doing these pushes. But a lot of the games I cast of Rain, it's like he's way out-thinking his opponents.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, the only person I think that comes close is Mini, but Mini's playstyle is about as different from Rain's as it could be. But we'll see. I mean, Soulkey's a very clever player as well, so this is going to be... honestly, I'm more excited about this PvZ than I have been for almost any other PvZ we've ever casted, because I think these two players are just so interesting. How about you, Tastosis?
Well, I want to tell you everything I think, but I feel like it's going to cut me off, and there it is. Okay, we're going to get into match 1, and then I'll talk to you, Tasteless.
Look out, the ASL hexagon's on screen. We have to stop.
리볼버 SE에서 게임을 시작합니다.
All right, in the top right, we have Rain. And in the bottom right, we have Soulkey. Okay, so here's what I think, Tasteless. Like, I think Soulkey has a little bit of an edge here. Now, if Rain wins it, I'm not going to be freaking out surprised or anything like that, because I think Rain is probably just straight up the second best Protoss. In fact, he might even be better than Bisu at this point. I think in this matchup, I put him more around third best Protoss in PvZ.
Okay.
Whereas with Soulkey, I tell you, if he was the only Zerg player in the world, I think he'd have a lot of championships, man. Like,
yeah,
I have so much faith in his play against Terran, and I have lots of faith in his play against Protoss. Oh my God.
Now, this is so funny because, you know, right now, Center Gate is not that popular, okay? It's just not as trendy as it used to be. I feel like there was a period maybe like 4 or 5 years ago where like we had lots of Center Gate play, but it's interesting to see him open up with this. And Soulkey went for Hatchery And it's not a hatch on 12. This is very different. This is like a hatchery before Overlord or spawning pool.
9 hatch. Oh my god.
So, I mean, the pool's going to start very quickly here. And if this is a 12 hatch, I'd say Protoss just wins. But this is a much earlier hatchery, which means he can get his Lings out more quickly. Assuming that the pool comes down. We don't have a shot at the Zerg's main, but there should be a pool making, right?
He'll be making it really quickly. I believe it's 9 hatch, 9 pool, but that might be an Overlord based on how long this took. So, but that's okay. So it was 9 hatch, 9 pool, but after Overlord. But yeah, I've heard about this build. I've seen it a few times, and I think this is actually specifically designed to play against gateway expand openers because you have additional larvae. So you actually can make more Lings right off the bat.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, that seems like it would help against Proxy 2 Gate as well.
That's what my thoughts were on this as well, is when we got into the game, I kind of thought, okay, well, I mean, this isn't a counter to Proxy Gate, but this is kind of intended to punish players that try to do that gate expand opening that you were talking about. And so, let's see how much pressure can be put on here. I mean, one thing to keep in mind is if you proxy gate, you need to kill the hatchery. Okay, it's not like you're going to just go into a mid game here with 2 gateways in the middle of the map. There's very little room to kind of recover, and if you don't do this right away. Keep in mind that the Zerg is going to be down on drones, so any drone hit is going to be huge. 2 more probes are sent here immediately.
Wow.
And so, I mean, Rain is very much like all in with this. Lings are going to be hatching here. Every Zergling, every drone, every Zealot, every probe is so important here, and 1 drone gets killed.
Oh my god, he's actually bringing down multiple drones here and using his Lings as best he can. He's drilled down a ton of drones, trying to make this creep colony, but of course he gets right on top of it. A nice drill here from Soulkey, screwing up that AI quite a bit. His Lings doing a pretty damn good job here, I'd say.
Yeah, it seems like all the Zealots got a little bit separated from each other here. Now, he has enough damage on that sunken colony that when it finishes, the probe can one-shot it and basically kill it, but I just think there's too many Zerglings here. I think that there was a little bit of miscontrol at the start of that from Rain, and now Rain's going to be in a very, very difficult position.
Yeah, and I think it wasn't just that either. I think that this was beautifully done from Soulkey. Like, even the building placement of that creep colony so that his drone drill would really mess with those Zealots. I think just beautiful execution in every single way from Soulkey.
Now, these Zealots are just going to get surrounded here. He can actually body block with the Lings, and I mean, this right now should basically be a loss for the Protoss. I mean, it's very, very difficult to recover. Now, because when Sunken Colony isn't finished, there's a lot of tactics he can use with the small number of Zealots, right? He can send those out, try to hit a drone here or there. But again, once the Zerg starts to get more control of this game and Lings head up towards the Protoss' main, there's going to be a lot of trouble because Protoss can't both attack the Zerg, defend the 2 gates and the pylon in the middle, and defend the probes in the main.
Yeah, I think that these Lings are going to be some serious trouble here. Like, I like his SimCity that he has there. It's like a little bit harder for the Lings to get in around those pylons and everything, but this is not going to go well for Rain. I think he is right at the edge.
Yeah, the Lings are going to come back and try to take this fight. Again, Protoss cuts a lot of probes doing this, so, it's not like the Protoss has very much to work with either. An extractor's being made here, and the real end of this is going to be if Ling's speed finishes, because then there's just nothing you can really do.
Yeah, these Lings actually a nice drill there, but there's so many that the drip of Zealots coming in is just being completely destroyed. He does have like 5 Zealots out right now, but look at all these Lings in that main base. Not looking very good here for Rain. He did this risky cheese, and it's just not paying off.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see him open like this, but, really this came down to a few seconds of Rain miscontrolling this, and the Zerg basically, shutting this rush down. We don't see center gate very often, so I think, Rain is trying to play outside of the meta here, but, because these openings from Zerg have become more popular, it sort of also is a bit of a safety play against Proxy as well, so it's too bad.
Well, well done. You know, you get unlucky sometimes with moves like these. I like that Soulkey opened with that, though. It kind of made sense. You never... Like, we don't really... Do we see Forge expands on this map? I'm trying to think.
We do. We do sometimes.
Okay.
GG. That's going to be it. I mean, Rain down already one game. Soulkey masterfully dealing with that rush and taking full control. And that's going to be that, man.
It seems like...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it seems like the build that Soulkey chose just dealt with it so well. But I think this is part of the danger of Soulkey. And I think it's also, like, you know, you see him do a build every now and then where you're like, why did you do that? And it's just, there's some sort of calculus that takes place in his head during build order selection where he'll do builds that you don't expect every now and then, and it really throws people off.
You know, I don't think we're going to have center gate again here, but if we do, it's going to be crazy. You know, okay, I'm actually glad we're going to get a quick recap of this. Let's watch the 3 Zealots, because it was 3 probes and 3 Zealots, but, you know, when you have the 3 probes and the 3 Zealots, you need to keep them together like a unit. And so, if you win the fight with Protoss in that moment, you're going to be good. But, okay, we're going to come back over. He pulls the drones. And it seems like everything got kind of pulled apart here. Where was that moment?
So he starts the creep calling, and he's like, okay, let's go get that. The drones drill through. The Lings force that other Zealot back, and here's the drill. Look at that one drone in the center of everything. The Zealot just dances over and over. Everything gets split. And I think a lot of that had to do with where that sunken colony was being made. It made such a thin corridor that it forced the drones to drill perfectly on top of everything.
Seems like Protoss should have tried to stay underneath the creep colony when it was morphine, but yeah, especially seeing that Zealot above the fight, the one that was at the top that was just kind of like zigzagging around, not doing anything. That's when the rush has failed. If Rain controls a little bit better and Soulkey doesn't have a good setup like that, high chance that if you take that fight correctly, you can just win. Guys, we've got a break. Then we're going to go to Game 2 as Rain vs. Soulkey continues on.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 날을 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6. 이름은?
정윤종입니다.
이름의 뜻은?
뜻 모릅니다.
아이디는?
아이디는 레이입니다.
아이디의 뜻은?
뜻은 없고 그냥 이뻐서
비 오는 날 때 맑은 날.
맑은 날.
내리는 비 가수 비.
내리는 비.
과거로 돌아가기 대 미래로 가기.
미래. 과거는 한번 해가지고 재미없을 것 같고.
윤종신 대 김장훈.
윤종신.
윤종신 대 성시경.
윤종신.
윤종신 대 유영서.
유영서.
이유가 있나요?
그냥 저.
요플레 뚜껑 그냥 버리기 대 쭈쭈바 꼬다리 그냥 버리기.
쭈쭈바. 요플레는 못 버릴 것 같아요. 그래서
재입대 하기 대 10년 동안 여친 없기.
제가 군대를 안 가가지고 그래도 10년 동안 여친 없기.
처음 ASL 본선 진출한 시즌은?
시즌2요. 24강에서 제가 알기로는 김정우 선수를 좀 제가 명경기 끝에 이겨가지고
이번이 ASL 몇 번째 8강일까요?
한 5번째 아닌가?
6번으로 프로토스 중에 최다 진출이에요.
아 진짜요? 기분 좋은데.
가장 높은 승률을 기록한 종족전은?
프로토스 전인 걸로 알고 있어요.
정답입니다. 푸푸전 승률이 좋은 비결?
과감하게 하는 편이긴 해요. 푸푸전은 좀 빌드 싸움이 심하잖아요. 푸푸전이. 근데 빌드를 지더라도 어떻게 하면 이길까 좀 생각을 하고.
저그전 승률은 몇 위일까요?
제가 나쁘지 않은 걸로 알고 있는데 한 2번째 아니면 3번째 아닌가요?
김태경 선수 다음으로 2등이에요.
아 2번째인가요?
8강에서 저그를 만난다면 어떨까?
저는 일단 제가 홈만 끌어올리면 다 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
저그를 만나도 좋다?
좋을 것 같다는 아니고 만나도 상관없다.
16강에서 피하고 싶은 선수가 있다면?
민철이 형이 좀 많이 잘하긴 하더라고요. 그래서 민철이 형만 좀 피하고.
마지막으로 8강의 각오는?
진짜 오랜만에 참가해서 그래도 8강까지는 올라왔는데 더 집중해서 좋은 모습 보이도록 하겠습니다.
이름은?
김민철입니다.
이름의 뜻은?
백성민의 기쁠철이거든요. 백성들을 기쁘게 하라. 팬분들을 기쁘게 하고 있는 이름값 하고 있죠. 네.
아이디는?
아이디는 소울키요.
아이디의 뜻은?
그때 이제 중학생이었는데 그때 중2병에 걸려가지고 이제 그런 아이디가 멋있어 보이더라고요.
민트초코 대 소리눈.
저 민트초코요.
민트초코 대 실눈치.
민트초코요.
민초단이신가요?
네, 가끔 마셔서.
소주 대 맥주.
소주요. 맥주는 배부러워가지고.
소주 대 막걸리.
소주요.
민트초코 소주를 추천합니다. 재입대하기 대 10년 동안 여친 없기.
맨날 업고 다니는 거예요? 재입대 하겠습니다.
김범수 대 에테몬.
이건 그래도 김범수가 낫지 않나. 네.
김범수 대 이병헌.
이병헌이요.
이유는?
기분 좋더라고요. 그거는 좀.
동족전 대 타종족전.
타종족전이요.
이유가 있나요?
그냥 저는 타종족전이 좋으니까요.
테란 대 프로토스.
저는 저그만 아니면 돼요.
지금까지 ASL 본선 진출 횟수는?
한 10번 아닌가요?
11번이에요.
11번이었나?
이번 포함 8강 진출 횟수는?
8강은 제가 봤을 때 4번 아니면 5번.
5번이에요.
5번인가요?
8강에서 만난 상대가 기억나는지?
김명훈, 임원규, 조일장, 기억이 안 나네요. 여기까지.
도재욱 선수도 있어요. 지금까지의 8강 승률은?
한 번 이겼던 것 같아요.
확실히 패배했었던 경기
저구들한테 다 졌네요.
다 졌어요. 네. 생각보다 그러네요.
이번 8강에서 만나고 싶은 선수가 있다면?
동족전은 가장 좋은 게 피하는 게 좋은 것 같아요. 차라리 윤종이 아니면 디조, 토스 이렇게. 저는 저그만 아니면 돼요.
마지막으로 8강의 각오는?
저한테 힘들었던 이제 3조 구조에서 이제 힘들게 올라온 만큼 더 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
ASL Season13 Unlimited.
Welcome back, everybody. The match 1 of round of 8 continues on. And guys, after we're done with this, we're going to go right to the Final Four, man. We're just trucking along here.
I know!
It's crazy, right? It's funny when we do these tournaments because, you know, you get to these different phases and, you know, you kind of see the story unfold. And then we get to a moment like this where I'm like, oh my God, there's only a few more days left. Goes so fast.
Yeah, it does feel kind of weird because just a couple days ago, it feels like we had so many people left in the tournament, and then it's like, oh no, we're gonna have a champion before you know it. But yeah, it might end up being one of these guys, man. Soulkey right now leading 1-0, going to his map choice here for Allegro. Obviously, Rain took a big risk in that game. It didn't pay off that time. If it pays off, you look like a genius. Otherwise, you look like a fool. Let's see how he's going to look this game.
Is it pleasing to me that it's seeking for you? Tell them the story, tell them the truth. Is it pleasing to me that it's seeking for you?
알레그로에서 게임을 시작합니다.
All right, we've got Rain down here in the bottom left, Soulkey in the top left, the Overlord actually scouting to the south immediately, so he's going to find him pretty soon. Guys, before we get any further in this game, we just want to say, everybody on Patreon, we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the support. We're so happy that we're still able to cast StarCraft and keep the history of the game alive in English. We wouldn't be able to do it without your guys' support. So, if you haven't already and you're thinking about supporting the ASL Patreon, just go to patreon.com/ASL English.
Yeah, guys, it really means a lot that you guys love Brood War as much as we do and help us out with this. So thank you very much. It's been a great season. I've just been hearing from everyone they're really enjoying this season. I would definitely agree. We've had a lot of crazy games. We did have that really hilarious first day of ASL this season. Do you remember that first day, Tastosis, where like all the games sucked? They were all terrible rushes.
Oh, that's right.
We're like, oh no, is the season going to be terrible? But it turned out really damn good.
Yeah, we just had to get all the bad games out of our system early on. Yeah, that was a funny moment, man. Oh, hold on a second. Is this a pool on 9? Okay, it is. Now, let's see if he goes for the extractor.
Oh, it's an overpool.
Oh, I'm sorry. Overpool. My bad, guys. I was going to say, I feel like we don't have that many pro games where people go for 9-pool speed, so that would have been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Overpool, that's very normal.
Yeah, we see that plenty. And Rain right now, it looks like he wants to go for a Nexus first, but I think you have to go Forge here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the order is going to always be Forge, and then I think at this distance, you probably have to go Cannon first, and then Nexus, but I always feel like I have this down really well, and then I watch pros who can cut corners way better than I can, so let's see what he does.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of early game PvZ. You have to just sit there with like your stopwatch and figure it out exactly to the second.
So
Yeah,
it's actually
the pro
crazy to me that we never, you know, in the old days we didn't have that clock in game to look at. Because like
I know
that thing is so useful. Just the idea of like seeing a hatchery, and without having an in-game clock, and being like, that looks like it's the hatch on this time, you know?
Yeah. I remember that. You know, Noni, of course, known as one of the best non-Korean players ever, he would actually just, like, look at a VOD and pause and take notes as to, like, when it started and get times like that. But the thing is, you had to play without the clock, too. Like, having the clock included in StarCraft Remastered has actually changed a lot and made everything really sharper. You know, whenever you're a little bit confused about what might be going on, you can literally just glance at the clock and know exactly how many seconds off of everything you are and that type of thing, which is kind of nice.
So it's going to be 3 hatch here with, you know, this is this classic Cannon expand build. At this point in time, it's basically the oldest fast expand build that there is for Protoss. And I want to see what kind of tech Rain's going to go for from here on out. I think that this should still be a pretty interesting mid-game here. I guess for now we got to wait and see. Is there going to be any Hydra Den thrown down here, a layer, anything like that?
Hydra desk, it's for the accounting upgrades.
Right.
But there it is.
There's the Hydra desk
is being made. Oh, man.
So bad.
The Lynx are blocking this probe right out. Now, when you get your probe blocked out like this, do you think to yourself, like, this is a Hydralisk den?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. I mean, the thing is,
but then when you think that, Tastosis, this is a Spire. It's just a layer and a Mac and a lot of drones.
Oh, he's gonna get... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Well, he sees no layer. He sees no layer.
I mean, we just got to see if the cannons come or not, man. Isn't it crazy how many pro games we cast, by the way, where there's Hydra busts? I feel like this is literally the build order we have seen more than any other build order in the last 2 or 3 years. Am I right?
You actually might be right there. There's just so much 3-hatch Hydra that goes on. I think it's so deadly, and honestly, it's one of these builds. It actually, this matchup reminds me a lot of Terran versus Protoss, where like the Hydralisk bust will come, and then Protoss will hold, and then you look at it and be like, wait, is Zerg ahead?
Yeah.
You know, or it's like, yes, actually, they're slightly ahead here. It's like, oh, so that's not really as all in as it looks. Okay.
Yeah, it's like the Protoss makes 6 cannons, and then like the Zerg just doesn't attack. It's like those could have been gateways. Oh man.
Yeah, it's the greatest defense you have is rushing your opponent to almost kill them.
So he hasn't spotted the Hydras yet. The first one hatches, and honestly, this is a pretty amazing job of scouting here from Rain. I mean, he's really played pretty perfectly to get that Zealot up there and spot that. I think had that Zealot not seen that Hydra come out, the cannons might be too late. Now, it does seem to me that Zergs kind of know when to just stop, and so this could also be one where he's just going to go try to kill the gateway here, and then just go right back into droning. Notice that he's not even upgrading out of the Forge right now. Yeah. He might actually have already remade the Forge back at his main.
Yeah, I bet you that he did. I think that at this point, Rain probably has it mapped out really, really well how quickly he needs to switch that little tech route and everything. And look at this. The Overlord actually is not going to be killed. The Hydra is sitting here waiting for it. Gonna help that Overlord to stay alive. The other Corsair flying around, trying to see what is being made. Is there a layer yet? Anything like that?
Yeah. So, it looks like the Zerg is clearly not committed to this attack here. He's droning up, and again, this is really the power of the Hydra Bus, because you're trying to surprise them and attack them early on, but then if you start to realize the rush isn't going to work, you can just immediately stop making Hydralisks and go right into getting some more workers out here. And this is so cool. I was actually thinking in the back of my head, is there a chance for a DT drop? Because I've seen Rain specifically do that before.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when you have a Hydra pressure on you, you end up with this like spike in gas, and you don't have that many minerals because you couldn't make all your gateways. You had to make cannons. And so a lot of times, I think one of the best plays is to go right into the Templar tech, make a shuttle and make a DT, and especially in these spawns, because the main is a very short travel distance, you basically would just go straight up. A lot of times, the main is where there is not an Overlord in the early game. All the other Overlords have important places to be on the map.
Yeah. And I believe, like, there's not one there right this second. There are some Lings kind of patrolling for this. So I think Soulkey will see the shuttle incoming. Another Overlord trying to come in, but he's actually left a Corsair here on the edge of his base. So will he get that full scout off?
That's the big question, right? I mean, one thing about this map is that the main bases are huge.
Oh my god, he's just going to miss everything.
Yeah. But the Ling can spot this. And I don't think there's any blind spots that you can try to, thread that needle through to make this work. So,
really?
Let's watch how he moves this. Oh, this is so crazy.
this is actually like he's playing like a single player like James Bond game right now. He's trying to avoid all the guards and get through the corridor. If they see you, they put you back in jail. But look, Hydras are waiting for him.
I love that you called it a James Bond game and not like a stealth game. Like, you're so... It's so bad. This isn't even... James Bond isn't even really like a stealth game or a genre in general, but like, it's so funny.
Bond game, Tasteless.
It's like, I'm playing Metal Gear Solid. He's like, are you having fun with your James Bond game, Tasteless? Like,
I'm sorry, I'm not a Poindexter like you, Tasteless.
Oh my god, it's so funny. So he doesn't manage to send him out. Oh, hold on.
He's got more DTs, man. He's got two there on the side. One of them ends up dying. These two DTs, I'm not sure where they were trying to go. But now they're getting caught. What is going on here? I think he has a High Templar in this shuttle.
I mean, he must.
Okay.
Nice.
That was a pretty good storm.
Yeah, and when you do this, the Hydra Bus like this, remember, you don't have a Spire right away. So, I mean, they can't really do anything about the shuttle other than try to, like, put stuff there to stop it. What am I seeing? This Hydralisk was attacking the Overlord? This is crazy.
He mind-controlled that Hydra man, and now the Overlord dies.
That's a
Look
first.
at this. Oh, my God. He almost James Bonds those DTs, and unfortunately now his shuttle flies into the Hydralisks. Oh, man.
Oh, my God. It's so funny. So, I mean, at this point in time, Protoss is powered up quite a bit. I think that actually, though, Rain lost more than he killed in that whole little back and forth with the shuttles and the DTs.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. He spent so much money on this tech, and it didn't get enough done. The DTs didn't really get many kills. The High Templar, I mean, it was like an okay storm and everything. But this is feeling pretty darn good for Soulkey right now. He's like basically even in supply right now, which is always scary for Protoss.
Yeah, I mean, Soulkey, we talk about this a lot, man, but he always just seems to have a very good handle on how to develop and not miss a single beat. And now the mutas are out, so he went for that big muted tech switch. So, I mean, you have to be careful. These mutas are basically designed to just try to find Templars and kill them. And he might actually just run inside the main base and start killing cannons there.
Yeah, goes and dives on these cannons. There are only a couple. Some Dragoons coming back along with the Corsair. So it looks like he'll be able to force it back. And you know what? Like, good enough defense for now.
Yeah, so far so good. Great play here with the Zealots to run up into the main. I don't think this hatchery can stay alive. I think he's going to be able to very easily just kill this off.
Yeah, he forces that cancel immediately. He's going to kill some of the Hydras as well. This is like, Rain's doing a lot of great moves here. There's no question, but it still feels like Soulkey has a bit of an edge.
Yeah, I mean, I think that right now it's... Oh, hold up. I love the shuttle.
Oh, man. Some Zealots get out. That might have been just Zealots in there. Who knows?
I think it was definitely 4 Zealots.
Okay. Well, 3 of them get out, so it's not the biggest loss in the whole world. I like that he brought the Dragoons up to try to get that move off. Like, there's so many smart tactical plays that we're seeing from Rain, but Soulkey is shutting down enough of them enough that I worry for Rain right now. Now, I think he's going to take his 3rd, but that's a mineral base.
Yeah. I think this is just, it's the next easiest thing to take. I think for Protoss, always the 3rd base, you just want to take whatever you can cover. He will need another gas here. But, yeah, I mean, basically, Soulkey's parried every single attack that Rain had. You can still see, though, that Rain's a very scary player, like, coming out there with that shuttle and trying to basically do this push where you can both hit the natural and drop Zealots in the main and maybe kill drones with the Spire or something like that. But, the more time passes, the more I feel like, Soulkey has got to be feeling pretty comfortable right now. He is going to get that base at the top right, and if you get lurkers up there, a lot of times the Protoss just can't break that, And so, let's see what else he could try to come up with. But right now, I do feel like Soulkey's steadily ahead. Soulkey's basically not overextended or anything like that.
No, he's playing very nicely at the moment. A Storm on those mutas as they come in, trying to dive bomb onto the High Templars, but pretty good defense there. Zealot's still trying to find a way to run in, but getting blocked off there by the Lurker Hydra. Lurker Hydra now coming down, but it seems like the Rain's army you don't want to attack into right now.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a huge attack coming here from the side, and these Lurkers are just going to burrow right in the middle of this?
I don't think this is good at all, Tastosis. Like, Rain's army is pretty well positioned. He's got enough Storms. He's got enough Dragoons in here as well that, yeah, that didn't go so well.
Yeah, I mean, we're still seeing a little bit more fighting, but I'm almost blown away by how bad that was. Like, when I saw the attack moving in there, I thought, okay, yeah, you want to try to make a counterattack and pull them back, but then when he committed with the Lurkers, like, he brought the 4 Lurkers literally that were completely surrounded.
Yeah.
And, Lurkers are devastating if you can keep them at good angles, right? But, see, that was a bit weird. But, look,
Soulkey's pushing way too hard right now. He's picking off a lot of High Templars, and Rain is only on 2 gas, so to a certain degree, I like that move, but look at the supply differential, 50.
Yeah, and I think things were fairly even for Soulkey until that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Soulkey had an advantage and kind of threw it away. I don't know if he thought he was going to be able to just kill Rain outright, but, Rain is extremely powerful in these kinds of positions, and a lot of these games, it's funny. I mean, it's like you see these Protosses that hammer Terrans or these Zergs that hammer Protosses, and it looks like it's close until the dust settles, and then you see just a counter push win the game, and that could be the case here. We're seeing these little micro fights, but eventually Rain just powers up to like 180 supply and attacks across the map and wins.
Yeah, and he is going to be able to reach that. It looks like he's getting ready for his 4th base. He kills the hatch in the top right with a Zealot. Things not going so hot for Soulkey right now. He is continuing to rally down a lot of units, but Rain with counterattacks kind of all over the place. He's really... I love these counterplays from Rain. Like, he's been so active with Zealots. Sometimes he gets in, sometimes he does not. But this is really taxing Soulkey. I think that Rain is keeping some good control right now.
Something happened at the top right. Look at that. The mini-map.
Yeah, he sent some Zealots up there, and Soulkey just didn't have any defense.
Gotcha, okay. Well, that's crazy. I think Soulkey's about to completely fall apart here. I mean, these Zealots are hitting this over here, and then look at this. This base is gone. I think Soulkey had basically a very winnable position and threw it with that one big attack.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that. That did not look like a great move. I think overall the game was really well played on both sides, but it did feel, I thought that Soulkey actually had a little lead before he did that attack. Like, I felt like he could kind of utilize the high ground, and yeah, GG is called, but utilize that high ground and move his army around and kind of zone Rain out. It's so hard to attack uphill. You kind of force him down the paths that he's going to have to go down. You have a good spread, and I think it's really hard for Rain on 2 gas, but that attack from Soulkey, it just felt unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of questions about that decision to attack in there. I think the counterattack setup when Rain started to try to push was fine, but when he just sent the lurkers in there, like anyways, once Rain came back, I think that was a huge error. And I think he really, for a while, had Rain pretty oppressed, and then Rain was able to break free from that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that was really impressive. I mean, game 1 was a lot about build orders and like one small move from Soulkey that ruined Rain's rush. But this game, the DT drop didn't really work, and Rain still macroed himself up into a good spot. Look, he is up 30 supply right at this moment before the attack comes in, but the attack is odd. Soulkey has a ton of units coming down, tries to come in from the other side, but look at this spread. Look at the storms that come out.
Well, the lurkers need to burrow with the Hydras. And if you can see there, all those lurkers overextended. And then the lurkers at the top here, some of those lurkers are too far back. They can't help out. So, I mean, it was like about as bad as an attack can be, basically. So,
and that one Zealot, Tastosis, was working on that hatchery the whole time. That's actually what happened.
His arms are going to be so tired from punching down that hatchery.
I know, I can imagine. He's really going to be sore the next day, Tastosis.
I know. He can't even eat his food, man.
Yeah.
So we're tied up 1-1. It's been a back and forth. The proxy gate was shut down in game 1. And in this game 2, I mean, he did a great hold versus the Hydra pressure, managed to burst out and shut that Zerg down. We're going to be going to a break in a second, guys. But when we come back, it's going to be game 3. And we're going to see which player will take the lead here, whether that be Rain or Soulkey. We'll be right back, guys. We're back, guys. Let's go to game 3. And before we start that, this is where we do the Patreon plug. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you for supporting us on Patreon. We love you. We appreciate you.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, so this has been a pretty crazy series so far, right? The build order game and then this last one where it looked like Soulkey had the edge and then kind of threw his army away, but also I think Rain played really, really nicely. Like, was he playing well enough that Soulkey felt like he had to kill him, or did Soulkey think he had a big lead?
I think Soulkey just messed up with his lurkers. Hydra lurker is really dangerous if it's done correctly, but, the lurkers are like the Zerg siege tanks. Like sometimes they're terrifying, but if you can like corner them or get them when they're in a position that's not good, they're going to lose. And I think that we could have still been casting that game, to be totally honest with you, had Soulkey not way overextended with the Hydra lurker.
Yeah, I think so. Like, if you set up a more defensive stance with that, if you can kind of move your army around a little bit and make sure your lurkers are pretty well spaced, it seems really hard for Protoss to break through. Especially if they ever have to attack uphill. That's just like, there's nothing funnier than watching Dragoons try to clear Lurker Hydra uphill. That just is not a thing that can happen. But look, they seem evenly matched so far. I am a little bit more impressed with Rain, I think. But what does that mean?
What does it mean, Artosis? What does that mean?
What does that even mean, Tastosis? I'm this Terran player watching a PvZ. Aliens fighting each other. I'm like, I don't even understand their technology, Tasteless.
What does it even mean to win, Artosis? I mean, what is winning really, right? Like,
yeah. Look, is it a real victory? Is it a conceptual victory?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Is it a moral
here?
victory? I mean, I'll tell you what, when Soulkey stopped that proxy gate, That was a moral victory. I know that much.
Well, look, even though he stopped the proxy gate in 100 years, will anyone care?
We're all going to be dead eventually, right? Like, is this really that important?
I know. Like, why are we even casting this tournament, Tasteless, when eventually the sun will engulf the Earth?
Oh, that's so funny. Guys, the map's going to be Eclipse, and, I mean, this has been a very fun PvZ map, and, you know, Eclipse is, I think, at this point in time, like, the most played map in current Brood War, since it's been in the map pool, it's been in all the major tournaments for a while. So let's see what happens when these two guys got to duke it out on the most important StarCraft tournament in the world, the ASL.
Tell them the story, tell them the truth. Is it pleasing to me?
이클립스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
So in the top right, we have Rain. In the bottom left, we have Soulkey. I think they're going to show us the stats for this map, for this matchup, which I'm really interested in seeing. Which way it actually goes, because you're right, this is right now, for the recent time, the most played. Okay, 16-12 in Zerg's favor. So yeah, a little bit more heavy towards the Zerg. You know, Eclipse has been, like, insanely played at this point.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, this should be its last season on the ladder and its last season in the ASL. We'll see if that's going to end up being the case. But if it does make it in next season, I was thinking of, like, going on the dark web and hiring some hackers to make a virus that corrupts all the Eclipse files in the world.
Yeah.
Because we really can't be doing too much more of this map at this point, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely had its run, you know?
Mm-hmm.
2 probes down here. What is this?
Oh, so one normal probe and the other is a sneaky
It's a
probe.
James Bond probe, Artosis.
Oh, it's one of those James Bond
Can't
games!
you tell?
Yes!
You know it's a James Bond probe, Artosis? Is that it's wearing a tuxedo and playing poker.
It's sneaking around the map, Tasteless. And look, it has this other probe that goes down, and that's like the bait probe right there. James Bond always has bait with him, you know what I mean?
I know, man. He might as well be a fisherman. So he said two probes here, and I feel like we haven't really seen this before, but
No.
this is like funny because here's the thing: is if it's not spotted,
he just saw it.
I don't know that he.
Dude, he ducked down to the bottom mineral patch.
No, but I mean, I think the drone saw it. I don't know if the player saw it.
Oh, okay. Well, with the drone movement, I assumed that he actually checked for it. But yeah, you might be right there, actually. Yeah, he's sending a drone towards the other one. I feel like you would probably put one on there.
So
is he even going to do anything with it, though?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you do this right, you can basically just... okay, never mind. Never mind.
He did see
I
it.
was going to
Never
say
mind.
that I think you can basically just cannon rush in plain sight if they don't see that probe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where you can just, like... It's like a super kind of cheesy way to play, but, like, it's kind of smart in a tournament of this scope, is, like, you know, if you just send 2 probes out, you're, like, a little bit behind. If it's... Actually, you're probably a lot of bit behind if it's not able to do anything like this, but if they don't look for it, you cannon rush and long after they would have checked.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, kind of an interesting opening there, but Soulkey with his earlier pools staying safe. His check as well, that was like a magnificent check. And I think that does go to show how smart Soulkey is as well. Because he's like... It's really weird, Tasteless, because we've casted Soulkey so many times in both StarCraft 1 and 2. And, like, the one game that really sticks out, one interview that really sticks out, I believe it was in KSL, when he, like, 7-pooled Light and, like crushed him. In the interview, they're like, why did you do that? He's like, oh, no, that was a great choice. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. You were making all these
Where
jokes
you and
about
I
it.
were
I
like,
do remember this.
that was, it seemed like not a great choice because I've literally never seen a Terran lose to a 7 pool. It's like exactly in the middle of danger and bad economy, where it's like not dangerous enough and your economy's still terrible.
Yeah.
It's
like the Goldilocks of bad build orders. It's like
it's like just wretched in every single way. But the thing is, like, we don't necessarily agree or understand why or how he chooses his builds, but it really does work for him. Like, look, he's figured out what was going on. He's played the correct amount of safe, and Rain just can't seem to get anything by him in the early game.
Man. Yeah, it's interesting. I keep thinking about that 7-pool game that you were talking about, where it's like, yeah, that was one of the weirder games we ever casted.
Yeah.
And then with an even weirder interview afterwards. Well, this game has all the signs of a pretty normal opening from Zerg. Zerg's going to tech into Spire, which should be able to match the Corsair that's going to come out here. He'll have enough Scourge. He can kind of chase this back. And now we need to see what kind of game exactly Rain wants to bring here.
Yeah, and I'm kind of excited about that because I feel like a lot of Protoss players, we would look at this and say, okay, we kind of know where they're going to go with it. But with Rain, he does mix in a little bit of a bigger range. Like, for instance, you mentioned the DG drop. We definitely have seen him do that multiple times. We've also seen from him, like, for instance, that last game, I thought it was interesting how many goons he made. It felt a little bit higher on goons than I'm used to. I don't know if you would agree on that, like, for the time that the goons were out. But, yeah, he definitely has a different feel than so many other Protoss.
Yeah, he's got his own little, kind of approach to the game here. By the way, air weapons being upgraded. And so, he's probably going to commit to a decent number of zealots here on the low ground and basically ready to take a fight. I've always been interested with, air, +1 air or not +1 air, because it's like half the Protosses always get it and the other half don't. Unless they see it's a mute all in.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. It seems like it's just like a very solid upgrade, and if you don't get it and they go mutas, you're going to be in real big trouble. And the one thing I can say is that there's a few Protoss players that really like to continually make Corsairs and just always get it, like Bisu, right? Like Bisu, it feels like he just about every single game gets that +1 and just has a ton of Corsairs. And that feels like it's, in theory, a better type of play. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
So this is something I've been kind of wrestling with in my head. And I'm just starting to feel like, +1's just like, it's too good to not have. Like, if you're going to be good at controlling your Corsairs, you're just going to win a lot of fights that way. So you might as well do that. Yeah, I mean, basically I was originally like a guy that almost never got it, and now I'm a guy that pretty much always gets it. I'm reformed, man.
Yeah, you're seeing the errors of your ways. By the way, I do want to mention that little move that we just saw in there, just to explain it. The Corsairs are being chased by 2 Scourge really closely, and Soulkey moved his Lings to the wall to eat the cannon shots, because Lings have a higher priority than Scourge. So that was like a really cool move that we saw from Soulkey. Didn't work out, but it was like really smart.
Okay, so he's going to run with these Corsairs, and this is the idea, is you want to attack in here, and then, when the mutas come back, you can have the Corsairs come in once more. Nice one Zealot over here to try to get that drone. Guess he's going to send that back here anyways, but right now Soulkey's just solid. He hasn't been greedy at all. The DT is the next phase, that you have, where you're going to look for any kind of opening to send that in there. Keep in mind that, the Zerg can either take a 4th base at the bottom right or the upper left. Both are acceptable, and so you want to be careful, because you really can't afford to have the Zerg, get that those 2 bases in the bottom right, because once they get them, you can't really stop them from doing anything else. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the fighting spirit problem, where when they take a base and it's like, well, I just can't get up there now. They're in one of those like tiny little expansion locations.
It's almost like you give it the nod that it's going to mine out. It's like, well, now I have to deal with that for the whole game.
Yeah. So Rain's just staying back here and powering up.
I love it. He has a High Templar hidden behind the spiry pillar that comes out of the Nexus. at the natural, so he's like using every little part of the game that he
Yeah.
possibly can right now. Both of them really are. I've seen so many little tricks pulled off already, like we saw the Scourge flank come in, the Lings tank the shot that we talked about. There's that High Templar. It's just hiding. You know, you're looking all over the place. Oh my god, that Storm! Oh my god!
That was sick.
Really high quality Storm, and that was the one hiding behind that little pillar. And
Yeah.
the thing you got to realize, guys, is that we're all sitting here just watching it so we can see this stuff. But when you have a High Templar, he's like mostly hiding behind a tree, and if you're just glancing at a forest, you might not see him.
Yeah, it's a little hide and go seek. A High Templar, a bit of a James Bond High Templar, as Tastosis might say.
He's like playing a James Bond game here.
It was a huge storm, man. I mean, the mutas basically can't be used, and you see Soulkey is going with that combination of Scourge and Mass Corsairs, and you know, I think Soulkey's still kept Protoss kind of tucked away in the base, but we're about to get up to about 8 gateways here. I mean, it's going to be push time soon, and the target is going to be where that 4th base is being taken now in the left side of the map.
Yeah, with Rain not having a 3rd base up yet, is it appropriate for Soulkey to be taking that 4th, or should he be powering on units more?
No, Soulkey's doing it right.
Okay.
I think that this is definitely the play. I mean, what
does
Rain
it bring
went
this
for?
down to a 2-base timing attack from Rain then?
Rain's going to go for a 2-base timing.
Okay.
You know, he may be tempted to sit and wait for a 3rd, but you know, this is one where like he didn't really have that much power early on. At least Rain, you know, didn't he like had 2 gateways and had like some speed lots, but it wasn't that many. So he like tried to see what he could do with them, and he's been massing Corsairs. But we're basically waiting for Dragoon range to finish here, and then he should have enough that he can push out and both protect his Templars with Corsairs, but also have enough Dragoons to push through Lurkers, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, he does have a lot of Dragoons popping out right now. Dragoons moving forward. The Scourge Muta army, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to end up getting done here anymore. Decent amount of High Templars out.
I mean, he's got to be very careful with these Templars. All it takes for the push to be completely ruined is for the Templars to be sniped, because we're at a point in time in the game where there's just too many Hydras and Lurkers in the game for the Protoss to not try to take advantage of Storm to win this.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like Rain is going to take this base. Looking at just looking at the supply, I'm a little bit nervous for Rain to actually attack. Right? If Soulkey sits very defensively, it seems like it'll be really hard for him to actually get that to work. Storm goes off, but doesn't hit those as well as he was looking for. The Muta's going up towards his 3rd base. Scourge connecting with the Corsairs. So the Corsairs get absolutely destroyed. Now the Muta's coming after another High Templar. They do end up getting it. A Storm nicks them, so they're pretty low on health.
Yeah, not bad so far. But that push is going to be inbound here. And it might be wiser for him to try to push up through the top and kind of wrap around. Oh, hold on a second. The army's a bit fractured here. And
Dude, he's looking for High Templars so hard right now with those Mutas. He doesn't find them, though.
Yeah. Where are they, actually? Okay, they're down there.
Yeah, they were all hiding in the trees. But now they come back and go after these High Templars. Get 2 of them. Super high energy, too. They get the 3rd. No Storms cast. And Soulkey does a fantastic job with those Mutas at the end of the day.
That was a masterful attack in there from Soulkey, and I mean, this is tough right now. You know, I mean, I know it's going to be enough Dragoons to probably take the fight here, but in the long run, it's going to be so many mass Hydras coming out here. Oh my god, and there's Lurkers on the way here as well. This is going to be very tough for Rain to recover from.
No, I think he's dead. I think that Soulkey just reduced the High Templar count too many times. If he had... You know, there was like 6 Storms on those 2 High Templars. If he got those Storms off, this just does not look like this. But that is going to be it. Soulkey is going to take game number 3 and be on match point.
Yeah, Soulkey's got this, man. I mean, that was so impressive how he handled that. And, you know, Rain was very cognizant of what was coming. It wasn't like he was surprised that suddenly his Templars were sniped. Like, you're kind of waiting for this moment as the game builds up. We even see him scratch his head there for a second. processing the loss and getting ready for Game 4. Soulkey, just murderous Tastosis. Just slayed every Templar, and then it was an easy win from there.
Yeah. It was kind of a tough game there for Rain. You know, I see what he was going for. He did have some great moves with, like, the High Templar hiding and everything, but he didn't make that many Corsairs. He was very Dragoon heavy. And Soulkey, he really bided his time with that Muta Scourge. He found his moment. He killed the Corsairs off. And it takes a while for goons to actually kill Mutas, so he was able to pick those off when he hit with all of his Hydras.
Man, that's tough, dude. I would be pretty scared if I was Rain going into these next 2 games. Like, Soulkey definitely took all the little wrinkles in his play from Game 2 and ironed that out. Just so deadly here. And you can see, look, the Overlord combing through here, that's to try to see if are there any Templars anywhere. He sees the blip, and the whole point of these Mutas is to just snipe these Templars. You don't care what happens to the Mutas after that, and not a single Storm is cast. And even though, you know, Rain is powering off of 8 gateways on 2 bases, he can make a little bit more to try to come out and fight. I mean, it's not that many Hydras now. When you see the rest of the army moving across the map, that's when you can really appreciate just not having any Storms, like what that will do. It's funny, too, because even if, like, the Storms don't connect fully on all their targets, they just add a little bit more damage that makes Protoss sometimes take the fights, but, like, if you don't get any of them off, that's it.
Yeah, you cannot fight otherwise. You must have that splash damage. So Soulkey, knowing exactly what he had to do to win, executes, takes that game. So now up 2-1. This is a good series so far, but can Rain come back and give us a Game 5?
Well, we're going to find out in a second, guys. We're going to go to Vermeer for Map 4 after this short break. Stick around.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 뭐야?
새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6. 어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 뭐야? 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
아침은 라떼, 홀리 점심은 라떼, 홀리 저녁엔 라떼, 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리. 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
ASL Season13 Unlimited.
Welcome back, everyone. Right now, Soulkey has a 2-1 lead over Rain. We were talking about this on the break, but, like, damn, man. That Muta attack in there to kill those Templars. I have never seen a game that has looked so close. Like, it could go either way. Immediately be won by a Zerg.
Yeah, it was really a clutch move, and, you know, I didn't notice when it was happening, but that scouting Overlord just barely caught the High Templars, and Rain was even, like, really avoiding those Mutas. It was just, it really a lot of beautiful moves right in a row from these two. You can really see why they are so well respected, why these guys are champions in any game that they play. Just an awesome match. And Tastosis, this shouldn't be a round of 8 match. This is a round of 4 or a finals match, in my opinion. I'm so sad that one of these guys is going to be eliminated tonight.
I mean, the competition is so fierce here at ASL. Even with Flash doing his military service, like, it's crazy how good all the games have been. And don't forget, guys, the winner of this series goes on to face off against Soma. Rain better win this now, or this whole best of 3 is over, man. Soulkey's going to move on 3-1, but I would love to see what happens with these two on Butter, so I've got my fingers crossed for a Game 5 if we can do it. But Rain's going to have to figure out how to take on Soulkey, who is looking so scary when he's in control.
Yeah, well, so far they're actually winning on their opponent's picks, so if that stays true, Tasteless, then we are going to see that set 5 on Butter, which would be a wonderful thing indeed. Let's channel our energy to rain.
ASL Season 13
I know that this already happened, but maybe we can
Ro.8
change that. Whatever happens here.
Oh my god, it's so funny. It's like, I know it's recording, but like, maybe. So funny.
Dude, if it changes reality, no one will remember anyways and be like, wow, you guys were stupid. It's like, you don't know, but we actually did change reality.
We did change reality. We caused a new fork in the timeline, and that's where we're all at here now. There's a whole other universe, okay, where Soulkey, actually won 3-1 and moved on, but we made a hard fork in the entire universe, and now we're all here because of this cast, because we gave our energy to Rain.
Yeah. You think they call him Time Bones for nothing? Get out of here. God.
Oh, God. This is such a funny cast. My cheeks hurt. I'm laughing so hard. Some of this.
Oh, jeez.
So this map, first of all, is huge. And I don't know if we're going to have a crazy long game on it, but I would certainly welcome a long PvZ. It seems like at pro levels, PvZ doesn't go on for that long, but I've always found late game to be super fascinating for PvZ.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think it gets really super cool. I've actually enjoyed a lot of our PvZs on Butter, which is another reason why we need to make this timeline make a fork.
That's right. We got to will Rain to win.
Yeah. Well, I think that this map it's really growing on me right now. The more games I've seen on it. Like, I've seen some of the pros practicing against each other on Vermeer as well, and it's just, I feel like, yeah, it is kind of big, but there's a lot of really interesting paths, and it's not so unbelievably big, you know?
Yeah, no, that's true. It's not totally out of control.
It's a weird thing to, this is, I actually don't know how to explain it. Maybe you can take a stab at it.
Sure.
But, like, when we talk about, like, maps being big, I think it gets confusing for people because, for instance, pro maps are never larger than 128 by 128. Sometimes we have them slightly thinner, like Eclipse, for instance, because it's a two-player map. But like this is 128 by 128, just like Polypoid. But this map is a bigger map, and I have a hard time explaining exactly why that is.
No, it's a good point you're making. Like, if all the maps are this, most maps are roughly the same size. How can one map be bigger than the other? I guess it's a feel for how roomy the map is versus how kind of constricted it is.
Yeah, like how quickly your army is going to move from one important area to another important area or something like that. How the travel distance between certain expansions, like a lot of the expansions here are actually pretty far back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's like, this is, while it's technically the same size as Polypoid, it definitely is a little bit bigger. So that's why we kind of talk about it like that. But I hope that makes sense to people.
No, it's funny how you change a couple features on the map, but it really changes the travel time, or
it's almost like you can have two guys that are the same height, but if one has like a larger frame, it's like it's a bigger guy, right?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Something like that. I don't know. I don't know, man.
No,
let's just watch this probe try to play.
Oh my God, guys, Dan nailed it. I mean, let's just take a moment. It was like, it's like, well, what do you like, talk for a living or something? I mean, that was crazy, Tastosis.
that was wild, wasn't it? But hold on, Tasteless. You see this probe and all the Zerglings around it in this chase scene from the James Bond game? So hold on.
Oh my God.
It's going to make these links crash into the wall and explode.
So don't worry, Q gave that probe some special tools to fight these links.
Moneypenny's going to be angry if this gateway dies.
Oh my God. By the way, he went for the core wallet. That's not a forge.
Yeah, look at that. Okay. And the Lings, this is going to be pretty annoying up here. Forge being made now after the core in the main base. So at least if there is a Hydra bus coming, he is not going to have to cancel any +1 or anything like that.
So, this was something that we really saw Mini do a lot of to great success. But, you're able to get your tech out super fast, even though Lings can be a bit more of a headache to deal with. And I think in this position especially, that's quite good for Rain here because he's going to get his Stargate out super fast, which means you can immediately confirm if a cheese is coming. I mean, in this case, the cannon starts after +1 attack has started at the Forge Artosis. That's how late this cannon is.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, the build for Rain is super, super, super optimized. And of course, there's been a little bit of harassment with those lings that has been annoying. Now, Soulkey actually made a little group of lings. Oh my god, the probe killed a drone.
Citizen's arrest. Beautifully done. These lings are going to get this gateway. This is one of the problems. Oh, I'm sorry, that cannon's further along than I thought. But yeah, you got to be careful, man. You know, you're getting all this other stuff you need out, but you're not quite safe at your entrance. And honestly, so far, this has been like a very impressive showing here from Rain. I'm liking his start much more than Soulkey's so far.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. His start is as greedy as you can really get. And Soulkey did get a little bit of a punish with the lings, but Rain does seem to be fine. Now, with that many speedlings, I don't think he can walk across with 4 Zealots right now. I think he has to be a little bit more careful than that. Corsair going across for that scout, and what he is going to find is the timing of the Spire there. So he's going to have a very good idea of when Scourge can be out. And look at this, a run-by of speedlings. Uh-oh.
Yeah, this is pretty big, man. He's going to try to come in here and take these probes out. A cannon was already warping in, but I'm getting more and more worried here as time passes for Soulkey, to be honest. I feel like the Protoss has just gotten into such a good position, and these Ling run-bys really aren't doing that much so far.
I'm surprised how little they actually are doing. Like, Rain is saving a lot of probes at, like, 2 hits or 1 hit.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive. It makes a huge difference if you lose a few less probes. So, Rain doing fantastically, even pressuring now with some Zealots, forcing even more Lings out. Look at the supply differential. Supply blocked 36 against 61.
I'm telling you, man.
That is a pretty big difference.
These fast cybernetics cores or builds are super scary when you can actually pull them off. And look at this. He just wedges this right behind here. This is so good by Rain. Now, he did lose all the Zealots, but the reality is he forced a lot of Zerglings to make there. He's just still amassing Corsairs. That's very important because by staying not active with the Corsairs, it could lend one to believe that, in fact, there's just been one Corsair and it's probably back home or scouting when all of a sudden all these Corsairs are going to come out at once.
Yeah. And he has a little group there. The Scourge did definitely see those on their flight up. Just kind of sit on the side and check out what's going on in the main base. We saw Soulkey make a big round of drones, which he definitely needs. His drone count was quite low after all the Zerglings he's made, which honestly haven't done enough damage as of yet. Game is still looking pretty good here for Rain. Now, some mutas are being made. Oh my god, there's only 2 Scourge here, Tasteless.
Well, there's 4 now, and I think that there's no way that the Corsairs can kind of flip around and take any of these fights, so this is going to be chased all the way back home here.
Yeah, they're going to have to fly back over that cannon. Very, very important here. Soulkey will veer to the side. Does not want to fly over there and lose everything. Going to harass the probes a little bit. Corsairs still have to be quite careful here, though. Oh, never mind.
Great kill there on that Muta. So far, Rain's played an extremely clean game. And you can see the pressure's on here for Soulkey. He's actually making some more sunken colonies back at home. He knows that he's got to be very careful here because, right now, tempo-wise, Rain's in very good shape.
Yeah, a little bit of a Zealot run in here, but Soulkey has put some money into some Static D now, mostly at his natural, but a little bit here as well. The Mutas will help to clean that up. Lot of Scourge here, so he's going to have to turn those Corsairs around. They do already have that +1 attack. And if you're in a situation like this, you see this many Scourge, do you just keep making Corsairs up to like 11 or 12?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And even though these Zealots, it can be misleading to like someone who's not that familiar with what Rain's trying to do. The Zealots are getting the confirmation that there are no Hydras hatching. So it's just Mutas. So you basically just play like you're against Mutas. You keep making Corsairs. He's got an Archon, which is always the right play. Instead of just keeping the Templars around, you make an Archon because that can help buff the Zealots. And he's just playing a very, very tight game. Now, the Hydra transition he's got to watch for, though, because that's going to be an extremely important moment.
A quick question about Corsairs. If you're like, do you go for like a Muta's dozen, or do you go for a full group?
No, I think you go for like 11 Corsairs, right? And then have one probe trapped inside there.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about. I thought so.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point in time, it's like Corsairs are actually better than Mutas. You just have to make sure they don't die to the Scourge. But when you have enough Corsairs,
and 2 Archons as well, like
the
that
Archons
is going to help out so much.
Important. But the thing is, I think Soulkey's so turtle up. I'm curious where he can attack in. This is so crazy. He's going to get 3 Overlords like immediately. Oh my god.
Yeah, and look at this thing. Oh, the Archons, though. He does loop back to those Archons, so saves most of his Corsairs. 7 still remain.
Yeah, Rain's being very patient by not overextending and attacking in here.
Soulkey as well. The way he's flying around there, it's like both of these guys are playing with death. If anyone actually miscontrols their air army, the game shifts dramatically.
Dude, they're playing with death, Artosis.
Playing with death.
You're just, it's just gold what you're saying, Artosis.
Faceless. This is art, okay? Like casting.
Yeah.
You can't teach this shit in school, okay?
Oh, man, the Mutas are going to come into the main now. There's too many cannons for him to commit onto this. Oh, those are great connections with the Corsairs. Huge moment here. All the Scourge are gone. There's almost as many Corsairs as there are Mutas now. And that's so much lost gas.
Yeah, more Mutas popping out here as well. Really doubling down on the tech. Now 1-1 upgrades done for Protoss. Coming down with Psystorms mixed in also. Big Psystorm goes down there, catches a couple Scourge, damages a little bit on the Mutas. Nice pick off on another High Templar.
So
I don't think he can break anything with this, can he?
No, I don't think he can, but I don't think he wants to necessarily break anything. I think he's just trying to make sure there's no extra base here. Oh my god, all the Mutas about to be picked off. And I'm sorry, I thought there was going to be like a lurker egg or something like that over there, but he's just going to be able to bust in, and I think that there's actually no way to recover from this. I mean, the SimCity's very good from the Zerg, but this is so many Zealots.
Well, hold on now. We have a flank coming in from the main base. All those Hydras come in to help out. Some more Scourge have come in as well, so the Corsair count is being reduced, is being pushed out a little bit, but more Rain units coming down the map. Another nice storm there. Oh my god, the drones drilling back get just fried. And this will be held, but Soulkey's supply down in the gutter.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing that happened back there was that there was nothing that he was able to do to keep his workers alive, and that's really the key thing. And now he's going to be able to get some great storms over here, getting both Hydras and drones. You can't really ask for more than that in a situation like this one. And he's just continuously making Zealots, and I think we're almost to the tipping point here. I don't think that Soulkey's going to be able to stabilize here.
Yeah, I think you're just about right about that. Like, look at this. It's just a handful of Hydras coming from the main base. Some are popping out of eggs, but Rain is sending down Zealots pretty much nonstop. Now, one thing to mention, Rain doesn't have a third, so maybe if Soulkey can stabilize, he'll still have a chance. But I don't see how he's going to stabilize here. He's like going to start losing hatches soon.
Yeah, well, I mean, now it's just Mutas here. Mutas are so slow when it comes to cleaning up, Zealots. I mean, it takes so long for Mutas to kill them off. And, this is getting tough here for Soulkey. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine a situation where he actually gets into recovery mode.
More Hydras are popping out, and I mean, the Mutas are definitely helping, but a shuttle going towards his main base. Who knows what's in there, but definitely damage. Coming in right now. Drops out a single Zealot. Everything's running. The Muta's flying back. Okay, a DT drops out.
This is... I mean, it's kind of crazy how long Soulkey's been on the ropes, to be totally honest. I love the drop. Again, all that, Rain has to do is keep pumping units out here. We're seeing Soulkey limp through this game economically. I think it might be time to dial it back with the pressure and just start massing up because, I mean, he's killed off enough drones. He's made it hard, and honestly, a lot of the Mutas are already made, which just kind of shows you that Lurkers can't be made for a while now. you basically can't be getting both Mutalisks and Lurkers at the same time, right? They're super gas intensive, so it's usually one or the other. So, you know, the Zerg's going for kind of one of these battle Zerg compositions where he just, like, wants to take a fight. But the problem is I think that Rain has basically played such a perfect mid-game here that he doesn't have any real weak points.
I do want to point out, though, Soulkey's supply has gotten scarily close to Rain's. And he actually made some big rounds of drones there, so his economy doesn't look too bad. Is there comeback potential here?
Well, I think the issue really is going to be he needs a 4th base. Okay, like, it's... You can stay even with Protoss for a little bit as his 3-base Zerg, but after a while you need to get a 4th up, and you need to start to tech into Hive and all that other stuff. And basically what Soulkey's done is he's going to actually lean into the mid-game more instead of doing that. So he's now got the 11 mutas. He wants to take a fight. He wants to kill the Corsairs, and he basically wants to try to recreate what happened in the last game once more.
Well, it seems like a pretty solid strat. Kill off the High Templars, then Hydras beat everything.
Right.
Yeah, the Muta's actually being pretty painful here for Rain. Brings up his Corsairs. Only a few here, though. Mutas are reasonably damaged, but still have a bit of play left in them. Pick off another Corsair.
Yeah, this is... It's getting pretty dire here, man, for Soulkey. By the way, Rain has been so good at kind of moving the Templars. Oh, maybe I spoke a second too soon. No, yeah, he basically kind of roamed with the Dragoons and actually hit the Templars because he basically wanted Soulkey to, like, try to have his Mutas, like, fish their way through the Dragoons and find the Templars when there wouldn't be any there. But now is the moment where Rain can push. And Zealots with a lot of Dragoons and Templars, I mean, this is a pretty powerful push inbound here.
Yeah, that is a lot of Hydras, but I think a couple Storms are going to make that very difficult to win with.
Whoa, stormed his own Templar. Okay, he's got 3. He doesn't have the energy upgrades, so it's going to be maximum 2 storms per Templar. This is all you need to do. This is it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Amazing storms come out, and look at the Dragoons. I love the micro from Rain, rotating that left group over to meet up with everything else. The Hydra's still being microed forward, trying to pick off what they can, but the Dragoons seem to be in overwhelming force, and with Zealots rallying down, it doesn't seem like Soulkey's going to come out of this one.
Yeah, this is looking almost over here. I love the Zealots that are going to merge in. GG! We did it. We're in the other timeline, guys. We willed it.
This actually proves it. And just so you guys know, I checked the results before we started. Soulkey won 3-1, but go check now. Okay? Go check now.
We changed the arc of the universe, guys, just to get a 5th
wild,
game in the round of 8 of ASL.
Yeah. Why are we allowed to change time? Like, I don't know. The time police are okay with us. It's fine. No one's come back to stop us as of yet. And we're going to see, is Rain going to move up, or is it going to be Soulkey to fight Soma in the round of 4? We're going to go to Butter coming up shortly. I think we're going to jump into this replay first, though. Look at an important moment.
I mean, Rain played a very good game here, but I think that, you know, Soulkey overcommitted onto the Mutas here. I mean, really, you know, they showed this. I kind of thought we were going to watch the part where all the Scourge were killed, because I feel like that was the moment that Soulkey started to lose control. But, you know, I mean, he took a pretty crazy fight here. And, you know, what's funny is it almost for a little bit looked like he wasn't going to win this, but then when the Archon started being right-clicked onto the drones, he killed off enough of the workers that it's like, oh, yeah, you probably can't make Hydras as fast now. Especially this next one, that's it. No more drones on the 3rd base. And even though the Zerg defense, I guess there were drones on the gas, but you guys get what I'm saying. Yeah, there's just no way to kind of get back up on your feet. Not versus Rain, who's going to power out, take a 3rd, and come in with a very robust push that's going to shut you down. So it's just one more game in the series, guys. It could go either way. Clearly, these two are extremely evenly matched. Rain versus Soulkey to get that final spot in the round of 8. We're going to settle this score after this short break. Do not go away.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 뭐야?
새로운 날을 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
아침은 라떼 홀리 점심은 라떼 홀리 저녁은 라떼 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타 라떼 홀리.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to settle this. Who moves on? Is it Soulkey or is it Rain? I don't know, man, but I just got to say, man, this has been a great series so far.
Yeah, it really has. There's been a huge variety as far as their openers and the type of play that we're seeing. And going into a two-player map that isn't quite as tried and tested as Eclipse, and also has shown us very interesting PVZs so far with the way that it kind of goes from side to side. I think this is just the perfect ending to this.
Yeah, I think so. I'm so glad this has been so back and forth. You know, how do these guys open up? I feel like Soulkey can't do anything too crazy to start. I mean, Hydra rushes are never out of the question, right? I mean, certainly that's always a good build, but I don't think we see anything weird from Rain either. I don't think we see a proxy gate, even though it could be done on this map. I don't think we see a weird 2-gate. I think it's got to be something like a standard fast expand, forge, or gate are both acceptable. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Set 5 Tasteless. This is where it all comes down. Imagine if he actually does something crazy like proxy gates here.
And then imagine he loses and he's like, why did I do that? I mean, we'll see what he wants, man.
I think you're right, man. Pull it back a little bit. Here we go. Game 5.
As it pleases to me that it's seeking for you. Tell them the story, tell them the truth. As it pleases to me that it's seeking.
버터에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, so we've got Soulkey in the top right, Rain in the bottom right here on, you know, a pretty interesting map here. You know, Butter, I really wasn't sure what to think when this map was put into the pool, but I feel like we've had a couple games on it, and I still don't quite know what to think. What about you, Tastosis?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet, but you know, a couple of things that we always bring up are, like, for instance, that they're, you know, obviously two-player, that's kind of the big one, and they're both on the right side. So it's like you start on the right side, but there's a lot of bases on the left. So, and there's also a lot of interesting terrain changes on the left side. And even though it's a two-player map, those are some big, wide-open areas. So we've seen, like, some pretty dynamic play on the map when it goes long so far. Where it's like kind of hard to cover everything, but you do have these high ground locations that you might be able to utilize. I think it's a cool map. And, I mean, the thing is, over time, a lot of the times a two-player map will end up going one way or the other.
Sure.
You know, it's hard, I think, to maintain really close balance on a two-player map because, like, something about the terrain will be really figured out because there's just not as much play as a four-player map. But, so far, so good, I think.
So we have the Gateway Expand, which is, you know, the very modern, kind of orthodox opening here of PVZ. And
is he gonna do something cheesy with that probe Tasteless? What is that doing?
Yeah, I was wondering that. We saw him go around the long way, and I don't know. I mean, well, he clearly isn't going to...
Fake cannon, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
so.
So, you know, what's funny is when you fake a cannon rush, it's pretty big, but the kind of crazy thing is that, like, you know, you lose money when you cancel buildings, so it's like, is this worth it? You know?
Well, he's got 3 drones out here. I mean, that's he loses 50 minerals.
Yeah.
Soulkey lost, like, what is it, 7 or something for canceling the extractor? Or, no, I guess it's like 12 or 13. And 3 drones losing some mining time. So I guess it's close to even. I guess you're saving larva too, right? Like to maybe you make 1 less drone or something so that you have enough lings. I don't know exactly though.
Yeah, I've never quite seen that set up. I mean, I'm sure that, you know, Rain mathed that out, that like that's probably more worth it to do. But yeah, kind of a funny little exchange there, right? Like maybe Rain is like somehow like a few percentage points ahead of where he would normally be. The thing is, Soulkey didn't really commit onto it either, right? So that's kind of the weird thing where I'm like, huh. All right, like now he went for a battery here right away. Keep in mind that this was very, very quick lings. Okay. He went for a hatch on 9 and then an overlord and then a pool, which seems to be the way Soulkey likes to play this game now. So there's going to be a lot of lings coming in here. No forge made.
Dude, this is scary as can be. Now, obviously the Zealots are invincible with that shield battery, but Zergling's just kind of running by right now. Let's see how well Rain can actually deal with this. He actually goes for a counterattack. 2 of the Zealots walking up the map, and I think he's microing okay here against these lings so far. He's actually picking off quite a few.
Yeah, this is insane, this little exchange back and forth here in the main where I'm like, no Zealot is going to be killed in this? Okay, so, I mean, Rain's going to try to basically swing this by having these Zealots just run up towards the main. You know, and I'm getting a little bit scared here. I mean, you know, if you lose a drone or 2 in this fight, you're going to be extremely low on workers here.
Yeah, he's already really low on workers. Look at this supply right now. It's really not looking very good for Soulkey. More Zealots coming up here from Rain. The guy doesn't even have a forge yet. He just started his forge after his cybernetics core, after this many Zerglings have been made. It's kind of crazy to see.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it? Like, just seeing him go so hard into both tech and aggression with the Zealots. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You get to have your cake and eat it? Is that how this works now? And, like, the battery is a bit of a makeshift wall here. Now, again, there's no cannon behind this, so Zerglings can be annoying, especially on that far right side. There's also a Zealot that's, you know, it's kind of playing a little bit of a James Bond game, I guess, as you might say. Kind of
You're right! He's infiltrating past the guards!
That's right, man. He's got his silenced PP7 out, and he's just going to try to get back in there.
Oh, that's wild.
Oh, the battery.
My God. The battery is doing so much heavy lifting this game. He keeps trying to get these probes, but they keep getting healed. All the lings gonna end up falling, it looks like. Maybe 1 or 2 get by, but very injured as well. There's a Zealot with 11 kills at the 3rd hatchery. Tasteless.
This is crazy.
It's almost over, I think.
I mean, this is wild. You know, the lings have gotten in there into the main, and that's annoying, but I think that they can't do much more damage than that. He's going to go for the gateway. But, like,
okay, gets the gate, and 2 more healthy lings get into the main. A lot more speedlings come down. Oh my god, this is Soulkey's only chance. He is completely all in here.
Yeah, he's all in, and the gateway's back up. But Rain's moving out. Oh my god. He's going to get in.
Oh, I don't know if this is going to work, though. Look at this. It's 2 cannons, and that's it. GG. Rain advances to the round of 4. Soulkey grabs his head there at the end. His desperate attack with the Zerglings being held perfectly by Rain. My God. Well done. What a series from these 2.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, I can't believe we saw Rain just counterattack like that quickly. This is so crazy.
Wow. No,
what a great series, man. And, you know,
really
a welcome addition to the round of 4.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's actually an amazing round of 4. Rain versus Soma and Light versus Bisu. We got, like, the young side of the bracket and the old side of the bracket.
Yeah, that's a good point. the new and the old, right? And I mean, Soma, I'll tell you what, Soma's going to be tougher to beat than Soulkey. As good as Soulkey is, I feel like Soma's a little bit scarier for Protoss players. Well, congratulations to Rain. We're going to be having an interview in a little bit here and see how Rain is feeling. And guys, we've done it for the round of 8. We were supposed to start this all off with this match, but both these guys got sick with COVID. We couldn't do this recording until they had recovered, and they have recovered. Look at the battery. What a gamer that battery is.
I know. That battery is like one of my favorite buildings I've ever seen. That one specifically. It's like part of the wall. It saved those probes so many times and stopped so many lings from getting in. It's kind of crazy. That battery got overcharged, man. This is like a StarCraft 2 Nexus over here.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And, you know, this is what a lot of Zergs will do when they're basically like... they got super behind. They're just going to all in. They're not going to try to fight back uphill in a macro game. But Rain handled it very well. And especially, man, you know, sending that Zealot out and trying to kill those drones, excuse me. I don't know. What a great series. This was so much fun.
ASL 시즌 13의 마지막 4강 진출자가 탄생했습니다. 무려 거의 1000일 만에 이렇게 또 4강에 진출한 정윤종 선수를 만나보도록 하겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
예, 감사합니다.
이런 경기력이 가능할까 싶을 정도로 오늘 두 선수 정말 최선을 다해준 멋진 경기력이었습니다. 결국에 풀세트 접전 끝에 4강에 오른 정윤종 선수인데요. 거의 948일 만에 이렇게 4강에 올라오셨어요. 소감이 어떠신가요?
우선 소감이 살짝 뭔가 마음을 비우고 했더니 진짜 올라가 버리니까 좀 아직 실감이 많이 안 나는 것 같아요. 네.
경기가 끝나고 나서 정윤종 선수에게 좀처럼 좀 보기 힘든 표정이 좀 나왔어요.
네.
와, 이거 이겼나라는 듯한 표정이었을 거라는 생각이 드는데 끝나고 나서 좀 어떤 생각이 드셨나요?
아무래도 제가 좀 오랜만에 출전하는 거기도 하고 사람들이 이제 조금 팬들이 그냥 8강 정도만 가도 잘했다고 해주셔가지고 오히려 좀 부담 없이 했던 것 같아요. 오늘 긴장이 좀 많이 안 돼가지고 제 경기력 나올 수 있었던 것 같아요.
정말 그간의 2년 반의 공백이 전혀 느껴지지 않을 정도로 오늘 정윤정 선수의 경기력은 정말 촘촘했습니다. 하지만 김민철 선수도 경기를 하면서 만만하지 않다라고 느끼셨을 것 같아요. 흥미로웠던 게 두 선수가 서로 선택했던 맵에선 패배를 하고 또 상대가 선택했던 맵에서 승리를 하는 좀 이런 결과들이 나왔는데 경기하면서 좀 어땠나요?
저도 그게 살짝 의아해가지고
네.
이제 마지막 경기 할 때는 유리한 맵에서 한 판만 이겼으면 3대1로 이겼을 텐데라고 생각을 하긴 했는데 그래도 불리한 맵에서 제가 두 판을 따내가지고 5경기에 가게 된 것 같아요. 그래서 잘 모르겠네요. 왜 그런 결과가 나왔는지. 네.
첫 번째 세트 리볼버에서 센터 99 게이트라는 좀 전략적인 빌드를 정윤종 선수가 사용을 했는데 막히면서 사실은 좀 기분 좋게 시작할 수는 없었을 것 같아요.
네, 아무래도 제가 상대가 좀 12합이나 11합 노리고 했는데 상대가 9 해처리를 해가지고 조금 크립이 빨리 퍼지는 바람에 썬큰 지을 자리를 제가 내줘서 근데 그 게임도 제가 이길 수 있었는데 컨트롤 못해서 살짝 아쉽기는 했어요. 근데 그래도 그 게임 하면서 저글링이랑 이제 질러 멀티태스킹을 서로 하는데 제가 그 상황이 안 좋은 것 뿐이지 멀티태스킹은 제가 나쁘지 않더라고요. 생각을 해봤는데 그래서 다음 경기 잘하면 이길 수 있겠다 생각했어요.
멀티태스킹이 나쁘지 않았다라고 말씀을 하셨는데 두 번째 세트 역시 그런 멀티태스킹이 굉장히 빛을 발한 경기가 아니었나 하는 생각이 듭니다. 이 순간순간 정윤종 선수의 판단력이 놀라웠는데 9시 쪽 길목에서 뮤타를 잡고 바로 좀 전진을 하지 않을까 생각했는데 이 뒤돌아 돌아오는 김민철 선수의 병력을 보고 바로 퇴각을 하면서 또 수비를 하고 승리를 거두셨어요. 그때의 판단을 좀 들어보고 싶네요.
사실 김민철 선수가 그 맵에서 히드라 러커 이제 짜내기를 하는 거를 알고 있어가지고 제가 이번에는 조금 다르게 하이템플러 만화업을 해가지고 한방전투에서 무조건 이기겠다고 생각을 해서 무난히 이겼던 것 같아요. 그 게임은 그렇게 할 줄 알고 있어가지고.
세 번째 세트도 정윤종 선수가 패배를 하고 세트 스코어가 밀리는 상황이었습니다. 네 번째 세트를 앞두고 한 세트만 또 패배를 하게 된다면 그대로 8강이 끝나는 상황이었는데 생렉을 선택을 하셨어요. 이런 강심장은 어디서 나오는 건지 많은 분들이 좀 궁금해하실 것 같아요.
그냥 잃을 거 없는 자의 선택이죠. 예.
결국에 정은종 선수가 4번째 세트를 승리를 거두고 5번째 세트 김민철 선수의 저글링 올인까지 막아내면서 거의 1000일 만에 4강에 진출했습니다. 좋지 않은 컨디션에도 불구하고 이렇게 좋은 경기력을 보여주셨는데 4강전에서의 상대 또 다른 저그 박상현 선수입니다. 어떨 것 같으신가요?
근데 일단 경기하기 전엔 컨디션이 안 좋았는데 올라가니까 좋아졌어요. 그래서
역시 대회 DNA는 다른 건가요?
물론 박상현 선수가 워낙 잘하고 또 김민철 선수랑은 또 다른 스타일의 저그이기 때문에 좀 연구를 좀 많이 하고 대회 준비를 해야 될 것 같아요.
과연 공백 끝에 돌아온 정윤종 선수가 이번 시즌 어디까지 올라설 수 있을지 저 역시 굉장히 기대가 됩니다. 팬분들 역시 그러실 것 같은데요. 응원해주시는 팬분들께도 한 말씀 마지막으로 전해주시죠.
일단 솔직히 이번 시즌 팬들 덕분에 이제 나오게 됐는데 이렇게 좋은 결과 나오는 것 같아서 다시 한번 응원해 주셔서 감사드리고 연습 도와준 이제 영환이 형이랑 일장이 형, 예훈이 형, 재혁이 형 그리고 성대한테 모두 다 고맙다고 하고 싶네요. 감사합니다.
네, 다시 한번 4강 진출 축하드리고 4강 때 멋진 모습으로 또 뵙겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 이번 시즌 마지막 4강 진출자 정윤종 선수와 함께했습니다.
And this is our result. Rain goes to that round of 4 with a 3-2 map score over Soulkey. It was just a fantastic series. Really dynamic, really awesome to see. Lots of aggression out of these two as well.
This was a great series. The question now is, Rain did it to Soulkey. Can he do it again to Soma? I mean, Soma kills Protoss so fast that, we don't even know what Templars look like in his games. I mean, he's so deadly that I'm really interested in seeing how that matchup pans out. I think Soulkey a great player, and, he's always welcome back next season. But right now, it's Rain, Soma, Light, and Bisu for our final 4 for this season of ASL. That's quite a lineup.
And the next cast coming out will be Light versus Bisu. That's an amazing one. 2 very old school players, the best Terran against what might be the best Protoss again in Bisu. I think that's going to be just fantastic. Cannot wait to watch that. And of course, Rain versus Soma. That's going to be a little bit later. They're going to have some time to prep for that. But I think it's just going to make it that much better. I think Rain is going to have to do some serious prep because honestly, so far this season, Soma looks... I think right now this season, Tastosis, Soma and Light look the best. I don't know if you would agree with that, but they both look a step above.
Yeah, I mean, Bisu Light's going to be epic no matter what, but I would really love to have a Bisu finals just because,
of course,
you can't ask for more star power than that. But, we'll see, man. Light is pretty good right now, so it's going to be tough.
Yeah. It's going to be a couple of great matches, no doubt about that. And this is our next one. It's going to be a best of 7, which is amazing. I really cannot wait. I already love the map order that I'm looking at. I think that set 2 for Bisu going to be incredibly important. If he does not take Eclipse there, that is going to be a tough one to take Light down on. But yeah, that's... You can tell who got to choose what maps, man. Bisu chose set 2 and 4 100%. The 2-player maps. Yeah. And then you see Allegro and Monopoly. Every Terran forever will pick those maps in that order against Protoss.
So funny. It's so true.
It really is. This is going to be a fantastic match, guys. Make sure you tune in for that. I can't wait, honestly. The way that Light is playing this season, he is just a rock wall, and no one has really been able to do very much against him.
Yeah, I mean, Light, he's such a great player. I don't know, man. I'm really happy with the Final 4 that we have. A lot of very interesting possible combinations as well for the finals. I think even if we get a PvP finals, I still think it's going to be amazing. Like Rain Bisu.
Yeah.
Again, no matter how you cut it, we're in store for a lot of fun here. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you everybody who supported us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/ASL English. We love you guys. Artosis, any closing thoughts?
I just can't wait for the round of 4, guys. So make sure you check it out.
All right, guys. Much love. We're going to close the show out. Take care.
ASL
Bye-bye.
Season 13 Unlimited.